What if I told you that the most unforgettable moment of this year didn't happen on a stage, not under blinding lights, not in front of tens of thousands of screaming fans, but in a quiet room, late at night, where 7 people simply chose to be together again? Because that's exactly where this story begins. After years of evolution, growth, and time apart, BTS didn't return with a performance first. They returned with something far more powerful: each other. At 9 p.m., when the first episode of Run BTS 2.0 dropped, it didn't feel like just another show. It felt like opening a door into a moment we weren't supposed to interrupt. The members walked into their accommodation in the middle of the night. No cameras, they acknowledged, no grand entrance. Just soft voices, tired laughter, and that quiet excitement you feel when something familiar finally comes back. And if you paid attention closely, you could see it. That subtle hesitation, that split second where they look at each other like, wow, it's really us again. But of course, this is BTS, and emotional moments never stay calm for long, because almost immediately the night turned into chaos. The mission? Choose your room. Sounds simple, right? Wrong. Because instead of assigning rooms, they turned it into a pure instinct game, a psychological gamble where each choice could either reward you or completely betray you. No hints, no second chances, just vibes. One by one, they stepped forward. Some hesitated, some rushed, and regret. 4 members ended up squeezing into a room meant for 2. Their screams echoing the second reality hit them. Laughter exploded, bodies collapsed onto each other, and suddenly it didn't matter who lost, because they were together. Meanwhile, somewhere in the middle of all that chaos, Jungkook quietly made his move. No panic, no overthinking, and somehow, he secured the most comfortable 3-person room, alone. The contrast was almost poetic. On one side, absolute disaster. On the other, unexpected victory. And that's the thing about this episode. It wasn't just funny, it was them. Unfiltered, unscripted, unpredictable. But the real turning point came after dinner, because that's when everything spiraled into something no one could control. The punishment game, the legendary, unpredictable, slightly terrifying zombie game. The goal? Catch civilians. The twist? They had to do it blindfolded. And just like that, the global superstars disappeared. No more perfect choreography, no more flawless visuals. Just 7 people, hunched over, arms stretched out, moving blindly through space, bumping into walls, tripping over nothing, calling out into the void. At first, they tried to take it seriously. You could hear the determination in their voices, the strategy, the focus. But then, something shifted. Someone bumped into someone else, another one lost direction, and within seconds, the entire game collapsed into pure, uncontrollable chaos. They weren't chasing civilians anymore. They were chasing each other, grabbing onto anything they could reach, falling, laughing, shouting. And then, somehow, it turned into a pillow fight. No rules, no objective, just chaos wrapped in laughter. And maybe that was the most beautiful part, because in that moment, nothing else existed. Not expectations, not pressure, not the world watching them. Just laughter. Real laughter. The kind that makes you stop breathing for a second. The kind that hurts. And when the game finally ended, they didn't immediately move on. They stayed there, catching their breath, smiling in a way that felt almost nostalgic. My cheekbones hurt from laughing so much. It was such a simple sentence, but it carried something deeper, because this wasn't just about a game. This was about rediscovering something they never truly lost: each other. Since its very first episode back in 2015, Run BTS has always been more than just entertainment. It's been a window, a place where BTS could exist beyond the stage, beyond perfection. And now, after nearly 3 years, that window is open again, but it feels different. More emotional, more meaningful. Because now, every laugh feels like a reunion. Every joke feels like time being reclaimed. Every chaotic moment feels like proof that some things don't fade, they grow stronger. And maybe that's why this episode hits so deeply. Because you're not just watching 7 people play games, you're watching 7 lives reconnect, 7 stories continuing, 7 hearts finding rhythm again, together. So as the screen fades and the episode ends, you're left with this quiet realization. This wasn't just a comeback, it was a beginning, disguised as something simple. And if this is what Variety Sense 2.0 looks like, then whatever comes next, it's gonna be unforgettable. Because when BTS are together like this, It's not just content, it's something you feel, and once you feel it, you don't forget it.